first things first, since Dana has joined us, I do want to do just short introductions. So Dana, if you want to just share what you do, where you're located, and why you said yes to the mastermind, and I'll post that in the chat as well.
Yes. So my name is Dana Whitaker. I'll do my location first. That's a lot easier. I am in South Florida, but I'm originally from Michigan. What I do in my corporate role, I work in human resources for organizational effectiveness. And what I'm trying to do is go off on my own and doing coaching and consulting for organizations that are looking to obviously have better employee retention, have happier employees. And a lot of it has come down to, I would say, either process or people problems. And that's kind of like my forte. And so I said yes to this mastermind because I was telling Raechelle, like I went back to corporate after trying career coaching for a while and was doing that on the side, but I just keep getting called back to doing my own thing because I just know so many people need my help, and it's just really hard to do that in corporate America sometimes. And I'm like, all right, well, if we listen to consultants for these things, then maybe I have to go in that direction because you're not really listening to me now. So that's about it. I want to be held accountable to really get this off the ground and really take control of my life now that I've entered a new decade. It's time.
Why is this important now, like for 2022?
It's really important because I was telling Raechelle, I've been looking back, gearing up to 30, kind of looking at my life so far, the things that I have been able to accomplish, the things that I haven't really accomplished. And what I noticed is a lot of it is I was really holding myself back from doing things based on, just expectations from family and friends and, being in corporate America, trying to be pushed into a box to fit in a certain way. And so I just really don't want to live my life anymore like that. So I'm going to be much more intentional about it and purposeful because I don't want to look back 10 years from now and wish that I started earlier or that, I shouldn't have been afraid to take the jump.
Awesome. Welcome. And thank you. For Sam and Masuma, do you want to just share briefly what you do and where you're located?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so I live on an island called Wolf Island. It's in Ontario, Canada. So accessible by ferry only. I have like a couple of projects on the go that I would really like to see thrive. So I have a company called Host to Host, and it's for really talented vacation owner properties to connect and swap with each other for their own vacations. And I also have a podcast with my sister called Our Manifestation Journey. And so I've been documenting my journey since 2019 with the intention of really creating my own life, and I've come up with some amazing things so far. And we would also like to make money with the podcast and with teaching people how to do manifestation as well, and be more interactive and be more intentional with their lives. Yeah, so that's a little bit of me in a nutshell. I said yes because it's fucking time and I'm so freaking excited and like, yeah, like it's time for me to make money. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Hi, Dana. Happy belated birthday. My name is Masuma. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm a mama to 2 boys, ages 12 and 14, teenagers, not fun. I'm currently running my family business that I created the brand for. It's right here, Hemtrails. It's a CBD business. We do wholesale and we sell across the nation. And then I have an online shop and stuff. But I've been doing that for like 2 or 3 years and it kept me busy, but it's not my passion. During this time, I have gone into like healing modalities such as Reiki, NLP, hypnosis, and just like lots of self-development. So I feel like I'm in a good place where I would like to start my own business and grow that. Ideally, my end goal is to hold retreats, like healing retreats, emotional healing retreats, and help people transform in person, you know, like with that whole experience. Because over the past few years, I've really enjoyed going to retreats and events and masterminds, and I felt like it was the most effective. And I actually felt shifts with each of those events. So I would like to give back in that way. And my desire is to have a business that gives me time freedom and location freedom. I hate having to go and be at a place and open up and put on my face and like just, you know, like the customer service. I don't want to do that. I want to do the creative part, and I want to work on my own schedule. My kids are going to be in high school soon, both of them. Like, well, one is already in high school, the other one's not. And I would like to have the ability to drive them to school and to their sports events or whatever they want to do, and not lose this time before like they get to college and then they're gone, you know? So it's funny to me that you're worried that you're only 30 years old and you're like, oh, I've lost so much time. And I'm like, here I am. I'm going to be 41 in just a few more days.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And so I'm like, all right, I need to do something for me. It's always been there. I needed that spark, and I'm grateful for this group. Thank you, Raechelle, for giving us this opportunity to have this journey with all of you. That's where I am.
Absolutely. And I am truly honored that each of you said yes, and I'm excited for this journey. So I'm going to set the scene for today because it's going to get a little wild and crazy. Everything we do in this mastermind hinges on radical honesty and feedback. Everything. Honesty with ourselves, honesty and feedback from the group, and what you can count on me for. And I know you all have already experienced this, so I don't really have to tell you twice, but I think it's worth sharing with a group that we've all experienced this, is I will not lie to you. The truth does hurt sometimes. And with the full intention that I have behind this honesty, I love each and every one of you so much, and I want so much success for each of you. Like, I am dedicated. I am fucking all in on you getting to what your heart desires, and that journey and being able to experience it, because it's worth it. Like, I've been there, I've done it, and I've seen it for myself. When a woman expands into more possibility with money, but what that actually brings is this leveling up process of time freedom and energy freedom and creative freedom. It's about all of that, really, right? We have this outcome of journey to 100K, but it's about that journey, and then it's about the aftermath that's created from that. And so I refuse to let you sabotage yourself any further, lie to yourself any further, or let these obstacles that you perceive are getting in the way continue to be obstacles. So I know how powerful today is going to be for you to recommit to your value system, to evoke from within your soul what it is going to be like over this next year and what you get to commit to. And we're going to create a covenant with yourself of what you get to rely on and as your foundation for the rest of, for all of 2022. And in knowing that it's not about like the reaching of the destination, this journey is about you being in 100% alignment with your value system. That's why the first exercise was about values. And when you do that, there's a million ways to make $1 million. Like that's not even the obstacle anymore. It's the money becomes easy. The hard part is maintaining your time freedom, your alignment with yourself, your energy freedom, and the actions that you take that align with those value system. So that's why we're starting with this versus goals or outcomes. And I think all of you, did everyone have a chance to go through the exercise, the Queen values, and work through a lot of it? Cool. Awesome. So I want to start there. I want to, from that exercise, I want you to share, each of you individually, what you came up with as your value system and why those values all matter to you, why they're important. And then as a group, we are each going to basically share our feedback. Are we in belief that that's truly what it is for the person speaking? Or are we like, is there something off, or doesn't seem like you're all in, or is there something that's just not working? So I want to use the reaction button. So you're going to, when you're in belief, when someone's sharing and like, let's say they're sharing super passionately, they're super excited, you're super in belief with them that that's what it is for them, you can clap, you know, do some sort of emoji, I don't care which one, clap, hearts, party. I think that's all we got for, yeah, there's tons of them, but like basically showcase like, hey, you're enrolled in what they're saying. I want you to be radically honest, because if they're coming from their head, like, this is what I think I should be saying, or I'm supposed to be saying this, and you can tell, don't clap your hands, don't raise your hands. You can even stand up. Like I like to stand up just because it like puts energy in your body, but basically share that feedback in some way, shape, or form. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. And I mean, I want all of us to feel it. If you're not feeling it, then cool, be honest about it. So, who wants to go first? Masuma, you got to go first.
Spread quite thin this past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just in survival mode right now, to be honest.
How often does that happen in your life?
Often, actually.
Mm.
That's a major issue for me that I would like to find tools or find guidance on how to balance all of it so that I don't constantly get to this point where I'm exhausted. I haven't had one of these forever, but it was this bad where I got a cold sore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had one for like 2 years, but the past month has been intense. So my body's just like, calm down. I go to the point where I crash, and I'm in that crashing point right now.
Yep. Okay. So let's work through this, because that's not going to work for life, for this mastermind, for getting to 100K. None of that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in perpetually creating this pattern for yourself, you allowed this to happen. And if you know and trust that you can also get out of it, what is the lie that you're telling yourself that gets you in survival mode?
That I have to do this.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Time. So like, I feel like there's something chasing me all the time. Like, get this done,
Not enough time. Is that what it is, or what is it?
Yeah, not enough time.
Okay. And what do you feel the need to be right about? You gave us a lovely story of your survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, what are you needing to be right about in that storyline?
Like, I have like all these responsibility, like all this stuff weighing me down. Like, who else is gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
You signed up for this. Maybe you were a shitty person in a different life, and this is the time that you pay for it. I don't know.
not worthy.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, so you signed up for this. Maybe you're a shitty person in another life. I forgot the first thing you said, but it was good. So when you step into these responsibilities, you're the one who said that you're responsible for these things. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
So that in and of itself is the lie you have told yourself. That is the box you have put yourself in.
Mhm.
So relating it back to your value system, if your life day to day could look however the fuck you wanted it to look, what would that look like?
Oh, I love this question. Okay. I would wake up and do my meditation and or physical exercise, both of them. My morning would start with me serving me and not somebody else. Right now, it's the opposite. I serve everyone else. Um, and then my power hours are like 9 a.m. to midday. I would like to work on my business, whatever that is going to be in the near future. And then I go and serve everyone else, whoever needs my help, my children, my parents, and the current business, like the physical business, showing up physically. And then having enough time to make an actual meal to have with my kids, instead of picking up food from wherever I can get it from, because I'm too exhausted to come home and cook, or like pick up groceries and come and cook a meal and like have a conversation with my kids, connect with them, and then clean up and stuff. Having enough energy for all of this.
Okay. So it sounds like there's enough time for all of that. Why do you think or believe that there's not enough time for that, to live your life that way?
Because things come up all the time, and then I say yes. So like,
Yep.
if my parents need to go to the doctor or their medicine needs to be picked up, I'm the person who does that. If my kids sometimes make plans with their friends and I feel guilty that their other parent is not here, so I'm like, I don't want them to miss out on that time with their friends, or so I do my best effort to take them to whatever event, like they want to go to the mall or go watch a movie. So like things come up and I say yes, and then or sometimes like the rest of the family, they come into the office, they're like, oh, I need this done, like legal paperwork or whatever. And so I'm the person that they go to and I say yes, and I do stuff for everyone.
What happens when you say no?
I feel like shit.
Why?
I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah, you've
It's
decided
like I have-
already that you get to feel like shit when you say no. You've made that decision already.
Mhm.
Like nothing's even happened yet and you've decided that.
Mhm.
So for the next week, you get to do one thing. You get to say no to as many things as possible.
Okay.
Dead serious. Like I can't tell you, the moment I started saying no, this was in my corporate job, the moment I started saying no and not being the go-to person, this applies to Dana too, FYI. The moment I said no and started saying no and started dealing with my fucking emotions around what that made it mean for me and my identity, that freed up so much more possibility in my time and my energy to align myself back to what I value most in my life. That when I literally did that for 9 months in my corporate job, I fucking quit my job. Like that's how I made it happen, is I started saying no. And I said no to the things that didn't light me up, even in a job where I felt like I was supposed to be doing all these things. And I said, no, nothing bad happened.
Mhm.
people moved on. People started asking someone else who would say yes. People started being more resourceful on their own to get whatever they needed done. It is not our responsibility to say yes or be resourceful for everyone else. It is your responsibility to yourself. And this is what's going to impact you as a mother, Masuma. When you start tingles. When you start operating this way for your children, this is not against them. This is for their benefit. And you start saying no, and you start owning your power, your resourcefulness, they will see that and do the same. That empowers them. So what are you making it mean about yourself when you take care of everyone else, or when you start taking care of yourself? Like, what is the distinction of what you're making that mean about you if you only take care of yourself?
Oh, I'm lowering the priority of me when I choose other people.
Right. You intellectually know that, but what are you making it mean? Like, let's say for an entire week, just like Masuma, and you'll probably get to do the same thing. For an entire week, you prioritize yourself and you're super selfish and you do only the things that you want to do when you want to do them for you. What does that mean about you?
That's hard to answer, because I do love when I do get into those modes, and like I feel like a completely different person. I feel way more in tune with myself and just alive in general and purpose filled. And then it feels good versus not putting myself first and not doing these things. Like, it definitely doesn't feel as good, and it kind of feels like I'm just going through the motions in a sense. So I need to really, I think I need to value myself more and my time more and my worth more and my belief in myself more. So that's really something that
So why can't you have that though? Like, you've said you've experienced it.
Oh, I can have it. So that's why
Yeah.
that's what I'm working through. I need to get through that limiting belief, because
Yeah.
I am worthy of all those things. And when I
Mhm.
am able to get out of that mode and do the things I'm supposed to do,
Mhm.
like you said, things take off and they're very, very different. So I need to go back and like continuously work at, like, why do I feel like I'm not worth that? Because I am worth that.
Yeah, we're going to work through it right now. We're going to figure out why.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So let's walk through a specific example where you feel it in your body, like, oh, I don't want to do this thing. And I want to find the trigger point on which you give in to the thing that is not in alignment with your values, that is not you taking care of yourself. I don't know if you have an example you want to walk through.
I can think of work stuff all the time that, I don't really agree with.
Yeah.
And that goes against what I know to be the best decision or to do for me.
Yeah. So let's walk through. Okay. Let's use the example that just happened before this call. Someone is calling you to ask a question for you to answer, and you already know that like all these things are out of alignment for the simplest of reasons of you're on vacation.
Mhm.
You don't need to talk to anyone right now. You can go fucking dark if you want to.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
For this particular person, it's because I do have a relationship with them anyway. So I'm trying to help them out, and I'm secretly going to do a favor for, they're going to do a favor for me. So in this instance, it's very different, but normally, yeah.
How manipulative of you.
I know. I'm like, it's going to work for me to.
Mm-hmm.
And this
So
instance, I need
there's
something.
there's a distinction in, oh, well, let me scratch your back and you scratch my back type of vibe. Like, that's what I just gathered from that description, right? Okay. So you've decided that in order to get what you want, you have to give something.
Yeah.
And what if instead that's not true? What if instead you can ask for what you want and get what you want and not have to give anything in return? Like, that's possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
But
I could easily do that with this person.
Right, exactly. So what are you making it mean about you when you operate the way you just did versus like if you had gone dark and not responded and not answered the question, like what would have happened? Walk me through worst case scenario. You don't respond for the next.
And they wouldn't do it. I
Okay,
mean, I
then
already
what?
nothing big's gonna happen. That's kind of what I told them. I'm like, this isn't that big of a deal and isn't that urgent. So, I mean,
Right. But like, let's say you didn't have that conversation.
Yeah.
You are not working. You are dark. Your boundary line is I am not talking to anyone because I'm not working right now. You don't talk to them. What happens?
they're forced to figure it out on their own, and I get to have my peace.
Whoa,
I
yeah.
I have
Sam.
Okay, my top values. I wrote down 4. The last one though, I feel like is the one where I'm like, this is where I want to focus. And that's, I want to, it's kind of like discerning, but use my authority to guide me. So I want to use my intuition, my CC muscle. Like I want to use I want to lean into what feels good in my body and what feels good to propel me forward. And what I want from that is to create wealth for myself. That's what I want. That's my value. I want to create wealth for myself. So, ooh, I feel like it rhymes. Yeah, because I have all the time to do it. And I have an amazing life right now. And I wake up in the morning and I do what I want. And like, I've got it. I've got it all. I got it. There's just this one piece of puzzle that I'm like, and that's a beautiful flow of income every month. No denying it. It's constant. It's ever flowing. It's always coming in. I don't worry about it. I don't even think about it. It just comes in. So yeah, I guess those are my 2 really important ones. Creating wealth for myself and using my authority, like using my inner guidance system to make decisions for my life, and no more shoulds, just all the power to me.
Yes, Queen.
Yeah.
What are the actions that you are taking regularly, day to day, that do not align with your stated values?
I scroll too much on Instagram. I've taken a break, thank God, but like I've been feeling it in my hands. My hands are hurting from Instagram, which is a problem. So I spend too much time there. I have a few Instagram accounts, so I'm going like shuffling back and forth all the time.
In my mind, there's 3 things that you get to do every single day that get to align you to this outcome of 100K and your journey of it. And they can look significantly different each and every day. One is, so the 3 are the sales, the marketing, and the operations. And from what you described in your day, it sounds like you're sitting in a lot of possibility, a lot of the kind of operational, like posting, creating, how does it look, and like the experience, right? Because you're very comfortable there. But what's not happening is how are you getting more people to see the things that you're doing in order to get them to say yes? And that a lot of it's sales. But like, even if we don't use the word sales, because a lot of people hate the word sales, it's what is someone's journey to finding you? That's like a big one in and of itself. And then also, what is someone's journey to saying yes to you? So those 2 pieces. And I want to solidify right here today for you, what are the ways that you want people to find you? Because then that can dictate your actions around generating and being inspired in that. So for you, if we could pick 3 ways for people to find you.
I I share a post that introduces a new member, and then their followers see that and they're like, oh, this is interesting. And then they approach me. So like that's
And that's
one
happened
way.
before.
Yeah, that's like been a very successful way of me growing through that system that I like just said. So like,
Right.
like
But like you're introducing someone new.
yeah,
So that's the cycle in and of itself is you've introduced someone new, other
Yeah.
people find you from their audiences, and then it's just like this perpetual cycle of now they want to join too and they want to. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah.
is that still working, or is there a lull like right now? Is that still happening?
yeah, no, it's not happening.
Why not?
I'm not posting. I'm not sharing existing members. I'm not, because it comes from desperate energy. It doesn't feel fun. It feels really yucky. Sometimes I can get out of that. I can.
But right now it's feeling
Beyond
yucky.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good, and it's not successful when I do it. So it's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that's one avenue. It works when it works. Right now it's not working. What are the other two ways people find you?
The podcast has been interesting lately. We're getting invitations, like we're getting people sending us, can I be on your podcast? And we're not doing anything on social media. Like literally I haven't posted since October. We're barely on our social like stories. So people are finding us through the podcast. So like they're searching manifestation and they're discovering us. We just interviewed Andrea Crowder from Freak Rituals. That was incredible. She wants to come to my house and do a branding shoot here. I'm like, I just sent her photos. I was like, because we did a branding shoot for her. She doesn't know it because I haven't posted anything. So sent her a few photos. I'm like, you mean like this? And she's like, it was insane. She was like, and I was thinking like, we really want people who already use our products. So like, would you consider being a model in it? I'm like, I've already done this photo shoot for you. But like stuff like that, like where it's like, with my host to host Instagram account, it feels very, really forced, and it doesn't feel good. Like it's taking forever to grow. It's just like but then me not focusing energy on the podcast and just like letting it happen feels like it's more natural, and it's just like is flowing better. So I think like the podcast is a really great way for people to connect with me, to get to know who I am, and to even to meet host to host too, right? Because like that comes into conversation and people are like, oh, what's this thing? And then they get interested. And so that's a really great way for people to meet me. And with our podcast, we've really decided to go heavy into it. So like we're going to be launching in 2022, and I'm kind of curious to see. It's quite possible that the whole experience with host to host was to give me the lessons that I needed for our manifestation journey, which is going to easily take off. And it's just like the funnel for all of it.
Yep.
So there's that.
Love it.
Also my other Instagram account, which is the Pike Farms, which is me renting out this house, which I think again is going to be really easy for me to do.
Beautiful. Okay. So you have 3 ways that people find you, which again, play with it. Like sometimes it works, sometimes I don't. You've already experienced that. So that in my mind is kind of the beginning of your funnel, getting people to see you, view you. the marketing, I think you've already got, which is how, and I think the only thing that's missing maybe is the consistency. So like how often you're posting. The best way that I found to like stay inspired is to like keep my journal and use whatever's in my journal to like repurpose for posting, to create that consistency. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, with the algorithms, it's really required to post frequently. I mean, we're talking daily if possible. Like, I'm with you, Sam. Like, I don't love posting every day. I don't love like any of those things. And I know hands down, when I am consistent and I post every single day, my account easily and effortlessly grows. So can I be without the resistance around it? Can I sit with being more flexible in how that gets to look? Or my other thought process is, can I do it a different way? Absolutely. I can grow my email list. I can be on other podcasts. I can't, like, there's so many ways. So if like posting on social media isn't the way for you, cool. But there gets to be some sort of way that gets you to your desired outcome of growing fast. So something gets to be in its place.